Here we are again at the Memorial Day, the Reading Names event. Appreciate everybody coming here. We have, let's see, the program out here. Ken Walker, Molly Dekisler, Amanda Hobson with our trumpets and so forth for the event. And Larry Mead, who initiated this event, is not going to be able to be with us here today, so we'll proceed without him. What are you looking for? Well, we can hear a little bit better with the mic, so I'll take this off. Okay, reading of the names is presented by Ray H. Fuller, DAV Chapter 17. Okay, we will have Tutti Colors played by Ken Walker, Pledge of Allegiance, National Anthem, Oath of Office, and General Order 11. Then we'll do the reading of names event, a salute to the veterans, salute to the honor of the fallen comrades, a minute of prayer and reflection, and then taps by Ken Walker. Okay.
So we'll do the national anthem then.
That's fine. Oh, thank you. All right, now, for all you veterans, please salute, and all the others, you can put your hand over your heart and we'll do the Pledge of Allegiance. Ready? And salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. 2. Okay, the oath of service, Jim. We'll skip over that. I don't have it listed separately here. Okay, Memorial Day, General Order 11, May 30th day of May, 1868 is designated for the purpose of strewing with flowers and otherwise decorating graves of comrades who died in defense of their country during the late rebellion, and those whose bodies now lie in almost every village, city, hamlet, churchyard in the land. In observance, no form of ceremony is prescribed, but the posts comrades will in their own way arrange such fitting services and testimonies of respect as circumstances may permit. We are organized comrades as our regulations tell us for the purposes of them, among other things, observing and strengthening those kind of fraternal feelings which have bound together the soldiers, sailors, Marines who united to suppress the late rebellion. We can aid more to the assurance that this result will cherish tenderly in the memory of our heroic dead who made their breasts a barricade between our country and its foes. Their soldier lives were the reveal of the freedom embraced in chains and the deaths of the tattoo of rebellious tyranny in arms. We should guard those graves with sacred diligence. All the consecrated wealth and taste of the nation can add to their adornment and security is but a fitting tribute to the memory of her slain defenders. Let no wanton foot tread rudely upon such hallowed grounds. Let pleasant plants invite the coming and going of reverent visitors and fond mourners. Let no vandalism or avarice or neglect, no ravages of time testify to the present for the coming generations that we have forgotten as a people the cost of the free and undivided republic. And other eyes grow dull, other hands slack, other hearts cold in solemn trust. Ours shall be kept well as long as the light and warmth of life remains to us. Let us then, at the time appointed, gather around their sacred remains and garland passionless mounds above them and choicest flowers of the springtime. Let us raise above them the dear old flag they saved from dishonor. Let us, in this solemn presence, renew our pledges to the aid and assistance of those who have left among us a sacred charge upon a nation's gratitude, the soldiers and sailors, widow and orphan. It is the purpose of the Commander-in-Chief to inaugurate this observance with the hope that it will be kept up from year to year while a survivor of the war remains in honor of the memory of his departed comrades. He deserves the public press to lend its friendly aid in bringing the notice of the comrades in all parts of time for simultaneous compliance therewith. Looks like I may have misplaced Logan's order, but at the cemetery they'll present it in true honor. Okay, at this time we will proceed with a reading of the names of all fallen people from all of our events. We have more cards here for everyone to read individually, and if they would like, they can hang on to the cards because we will print them out each year. Okay, I'll start off with the first card here. Harry O. Ackerman, John Frederick Adams, Albert George Ahrens, John D. Anunzo, Randolph A. Ehrman, Joss N. Bach, Fred W. Baman, Minor Bernard, Maurice E. Barnett Jr., Harold J. P. Beck, Henry B. Bellinger, Urban Bergeron, Barbarzan, David L. Bradley. Those are all from World War I. Now, any others can come up, form a line, and we'll have everybody participate if we can.
Henry James Brandow, Cliff A. Bryant, Elmer W. Bullis, Edgar Earl Cashford, Leonard B. Cherwinski, Fred Conley, Atlee H. Cook, Harry Julius Daum, Harold Sylvester Day, Thomas E. Delorme, Cornelius Young, Edward Dronick, Leo Frank Durant, John F. Eskowski.
Okay. Frank P. Fabricki, Clarence G. Farbach, Paul Falk. Darn glasses. William F. Ferguson, Herman Foth, Fred W. Friday, Herman Fritz, Edward Frommel, Ralph Theodore Fuller, Harry R. Gage, Frank Gatza, Adolf Gertsch, Arthur E. Giles.
Richard William Grutzmacher, Harvey Andrew Felixson, John Haynes, James P. Hawley, Charles R. Heinzinger, Vernon A. Holden, Joseph James Hubbard, Charles Avon Herbold, Lester Herman Irving, Nels A. Jensen, Peter Johnson, Edward F. Kaiser, Leo Commissar.
DeForest Cavill, John Harold Oakes, Frank Obersteiner, Burr Henry Ogden, Bernard N. Peason, William Peckman, Christ I. Peterson, Edmund Peterson, George W. Peterson, Louis A. Peterson, Theodore Peterson, Henry J. File.
Frank Phillips, Gerald I. Picard, Lee Picketts, Clarence S. Preeb, Richard Prochnow, Addison J. Provost, Frank Parchnovitsky, Ward H. Ream, James Regnery, Roland S. Ratelli, Geo Reiner, John H. Rombers.
Thomas C. Romney, Theo Carl Rosenow, Arthur Russell, Jazz J. Ryan, Arthur C. Sanborn, Joseph Shear, Arthur Edward Holtz, Leonard H. Schneider, Albert R. Schultz, Arthur F. Schultz, William H. Scheimacher, Otto Bernard Sells, Walter Zielinski.
Peter A. Siebert, Michael Sitzberger, Walter C. Skoll, David A. Smith, Earl E. Smith, Harold L. Smith, Howard L. Smith, Ignaz Mowinski, Otto Spetsky, Emil H. Spielgoldberg, I apologize, Ernest Stager, Harold W. Stecker, Herbert Giles Stephenson.
Edward C. Steckbauer, Harvey Stitch, Carl August Strahl, John R. Strike, Frank H. Stuber, Louis Seuss, Alex S. Slobrit, George E. Terry, Alfred A. Thalen, Ruby Thomas, George Daniel Thompson, Isaac T. Thompson, Walter Thorne.
John A. Tim, John Alvin Timmerman, J. E. Trevelyan, James C. Turner, Harvey Udick, Benjamin H. Warner, Cooper D. Wells, Irving H. Walsh, Harry Whitman, Morgan Williams, Irving F. Wilson, Glenn H. Winchester, Carl Zarter, Edward Zindler.
World War II. Marvin C. Abraham, Walter A. Abraham, Leon R. Barter Jr., Frank A. Bartow, Robert W. Bauer, Marvin A. Bedone, Frank L. Benderling, Norman F. Berger, Harvey D. Bidwell, Harold Bilkey, Don E. Bloden, Fred Bremer.
Melvin F. Brown, Raymond L. Brown, Roger W. Brewski, Frederick L. Bruner, Donald W. Butzloff, Norman Cabot, Gerald R. Case, Donald J. Clark, James L. Clark, Frank J. Crane, Howard W. Danks, Laverne Darling.
Keith Davis, Marvin Buller, L.P. DeGruck, George R. Dempsey, Robert DeWitt, John Dewalski, Louis A. Dram, Erwin Engel, John L. Urban, Richard Urban, Norman W. Ewald, Carol F. Farry.
Darrell C. Felix, Harvey E. Felker, George Fenn, Farrell B. Finnan, Walter F. Fitzpatrick, Earl Bryce Fuller, Herbert K. Fuss, Edward Jens, William C. Jet. Ketchus, Clarence Greeniger, Marion L. Haley.
Donald W. Hayes, Raymond J. Heisler, Almond H. Hergert, Robert W. Hess, Carl Huner Jr., Harold J. Hullab, Anthony Highland, Arlen C. Jacobs, David S. Johnson Jr., Glenn A. Johnson, William A. Yedis, Joseph M. Youngman.
Frank Karafotis, Burnett D. Kemp, Francis Kirsch, James K. Kimball, Norbert J. Kinney, Ralph J. Kirsch, Frederick Konis, Andrew J. Kossel, Kenneth W. Kroll, Raymond Kubler, Glenn K. Lambert, Donner K. Glast.
Conrad Louis Weber Jr., Andrew J. Vitsky, David G. Lem, Irvin Lemke, Carol Legion, Glenn A. Lincoln Jr., Robert G. Ledke, Clifford Ludwig, Edwin G. Lupke, Robert K. Lupke, Donald J. McKellen, Howard McHugh.
World War II. Melvin J. Mace Jr., Everett G. Manthe, Clifford Markey, Arthur E. Marin, Stanley C. Marsh, James I. Martin, Clyde F. Marks, Leonard E. Miller, Leroy A. Miller, Richard H. Moore, Earl V. Musa, Robert F. Nash.
World War II, Arnold H. Nelson, John P. Nowicki, Robert A. Nugent, Raymond A. Nusser, Robert E. O. O'Callahan, Douglas J. O'Toole, Ralph A. Ott, Vilas D. Parker, Clarence H. Parsons, Roger E. Partridge, Clyde M. Paraboom, Frank Pensenstadler.
World War II, John H. Person, John H. Pertmeyer, Richard Peterson, Lawrence Phelps, Benjamin E. Poe, George R. Kerensky, Gordon W. Plebe, Frederick R. Reimers, Marvin N. Reinhardt, James Robinson, John E. Schilling, Edgar H. Schmidt.
Richard Schmunk, Victor C. Schneider, Harold C. Schnitzler, Frank M. Schumacher, R. C. Schwerbel, Richard J. Shea, William M. Shepard, John A. Shorey, Gordon W. Smith, Ronald G. Spalding, Robert H. Standerl, Edward I. Stamborski.
Raymond A. Surin, David E. Sykes, Robert J. Tedich, Harrison A. Talbot, John J. Thomas, Clarence Thur, Elton W. Timmerman, Niall E. Timmerman, Dwayne L. Trenton, Edward R. Vader, Edward Van Ravenstein, Marin L. Van Fleet.
Robert N. Walkowiak, Dale S. Walter, Merton W. Welton, Howard C. Wickert, Larry Wilson, George E. Whiskey, Harold Wood, Robert Zarum, Donald F. Zitwell, Irving A. Zicke, Robert H. A. Zicke, last of World War II.
Korea, William A. Brenner, Herbert Burdick Jr., Harry J. Goni, Richard H. Henderson, Charles R. Klatt, Lyle M. Langlitz, James M. Lansing, Edward R. Lash, Gerald D. Madel, Harold Marsh, James C. McGuire.
Korean War. Hugh J. Mickelson, Norman T. Reichberger, Raymond W. Siegert, Charles Sentz, Douglas M. Smith, Edward Switsky, Melvin G. Washburn, Frederick O. Zentner, Richard H. Ratsberg, Frank H. Yost.
Vietnam, Orlando O. Bearwold, Ronald E. Yankee, Alvin A. Benerick, Kenneth B. Hawley, Daniel H. Caston, Paul E. Mansky, John C. Stecker, Thomas R. Burns, James T. Dobish, Charles W. Krieger, Donald R. Last.
Vietnam. James R. Fisher, Richard Min, John P. Paulson, James J. Lind, Chris A. Langenfeld, Leon G. Greshhammer, Gene J. Howard, Thomas F. Daisy Jr., Stephen L. Zobel, Manuel T. Lopez, James M. Moriarty, Charles G. Vanderhayden, Robert J. Beck.
Vietnam.
John A. Blanco Jr., Robert G. Blunt, Kenneth G. Neepheder, Edward V. Iden Jr., Richard L. Anderson, Andrew Lee Hyder, Thomas E. Baumgartner, Timothy A. Dahl, David J. Battinger, Robert R. Almers, Gregory W. Stoddart, Dean L. Manu, Francis P. Valdez.
Harvey J. Jacobson, Vietnam. James L. Smith, Richard J. Hentz, Robert E. Radicek, David J. Watson, Scott B. Westfall. Next few names are Iraq and Afghanistan. Michael Anderson, Benjamin Jansky, Brett Vroom, Andrew Wallace, James W. McDonald, John B. St. John.
And thank you. 3 of the last 6 that were in Afghanistan are actually up on this wall. The other 3 were remembrance and so forth we've collected from people who wanted to announce, their person's involvement and so forth. Memorial Day means different things to different people. Other people's relatives, family, husbands, dads, mothers, in some cases, but very few, who actually perished in these events. Is there anyone here who would like to mention a name, fallen comrade who died afterwards from cancer or something of that nature? You're welcome to come up and give their names and so forth. That's how we initially got these 3 names here in the last memorials. We heard about them, we started announcing them, we put them on our cards, and eventually they got their memorial. Come on up.
Corporal Deacon Page, Afghanistan.
Anyone else?
Will W. Yankee, World War II, Coast Guard.
All right, thank you. Now, personally, I wasn't involved in these events, but I was out there doing the TWA hijacking in '85, out there in the first Gulf War, and so forth. So, like I said, Memorial Day means different things to different people, and that is pretty much our program. Let's see. Yes, we have to do the taps. Have there a minimum of prayer reflection. So you, and thank you again. Like I said, Ken Walker did the taps and other bugling, along with Mike, Molly Dickinson, Amanda Hobson, Larry Mead, initially started this event by reading names all by himself out here, and took years to get the Chamber of Commerce and so forth to arrange this event. Robin's Nest allowed us the flowers for our presentation and out here in the garden. We also have to give appreciation to Oshkosh Parks Department, Oshkosh Media, and our safety guard out here with his white wall bicycle tires. We appreciate your being here, making sure we're all safe. And that is the conclusion of our event. Thank you.